Alright, Romie here. So this is the review for Growing Up Hip Hop, Season 1, Episode 3, Run to Miami. And essentially that's what Angela does. So we get into the episode right where it left off, where she's in Romeo's hotel room with his girlfriend. And she's just like, oh, thanks for the flowers, I guess. Kind of weird. And he's like, why would I send you flowers? I'm here in New York and there's no reason for me to do so, to send it to you working out at your gym for boxing. That makes no sense. And so then she was just like, oh yeah, I guess that's from my stalker. And he's just like, what do you mean? It's like, yeah, so I have a stalker. And he just can't believe it. It's like, so have you done anything about it? The same spiel that everyone else gives her. She's like, yeah, no. He's like, look, you're famous out here, and if someone's stalking you, you're in danger. So you need to tell the police, do something about it. Have you even talked to the police? It's like, oh no, I haven't. No. You know how Angela is. She's famous, but she doesn't really want to accept it, and so she's just like, she doesn't want to do too much because then she won't feel normal, even though she's not like everyone else. But anyway, after that we get to Kristinia. She's actually in the bad area of the town where she thinks her father could be. Well, that's what we thought, but she was really there because she wanted to talk to the this counselor. Well, actually he was the pastor, Pastor Russell, and they talked because she's like, I need advice. You know how to deal with addicts, you know how to handle the situation. So she gave the whole rundown of her father has been battling addiction for 25 years and he just got out of jail, and so now no one can find him, and so of course she's worried, and so she talks with him and he gives them this general advice of, of course it's great for you to be there for him, but he's gonna have to want to help himself, so he'll be found once he wants you guys to find him. So she's just like, oh, okay, thanks. And then of course she's in the car and she's crying because it's just like, it's so hard, it's weighing so much on her heart, and thankfully she has her friend Kat there for emotional support. So after that we get to Romeo. He's off in Bulgaria because he has that big role in, not Scarface, but what is that movie called? In that movie, something 3, and so he's going on set to do that, and he talks about the whole trials and tribulations of balancing being a music mogul or becoming a music mogul, and him also trying to do everything else. And so then we skip to that. Angela's finally where we think she needs to be, which is talking with the police. And it's just funny because she has this look like, are you kidding me? And we're all like, hello, you have a stalker. This guy's crazy. You can't do your general routine. You can't go and put everything out there on social media. It's just like borderline common sense stuff that, because again, Angela just wants to have a normal life in the sense that she wants to be able to go where she wants to go. And it's great that she has fans, but this whole element of people being so obsessed with her that they want to stalk her and all this other stuff is just still unbelievable to her. And so the police are like, yeah, you may want to get out of time. It was funny because they were like, if you have the means to, leave where you are and go somewhere else. And she's like, well, in Miami, my father has a concert and also TJ is going to be performing. So it'll be a good time to go down there. But it's just like, come on, guys, you know who she is. But I guess trying to be respectful, not assume. But anyway, so Peppa's in the studio, of course, with her daughter, Egypt. And Egypt is going to record in a official studio for the first time. And so they're doing these vocal warm-ups and, of course, getting the blood circulating. So she has to do jumping jacks and everything that you would normally think that, okay, that's silly, but this is your voice. So you have to have the air passages flowing. Like, clearly you can hear mine is being constrained. But Pepa is just like, oh, that's my girl. I know you do fine, but nitpicking at every little thing. And you know, Egypt's trying to do just 2 verses right now, and she can't get through the second verse without her mom keeps stopping. It's like, okay, the first part was weak, and we understand how it works. The first like 5 to 10 seconds of anything, especially music, that means everything. Because if it's whack or it's boring or there's nothing really there, especially if you have vocals to it, then people switch off, and once they switch off, they're not going to switch back on again. Or it's highly unlikely. So I understand what you're saying. If you came on kind of weak and lackluster, then of course it's going to be like, okay. So even if the second verse is fired, no one's going to hear it. But Pepa is just like, she's micromanaging the whole thing. And as a result, Egypt at one point is just like, you know what, we need to have a talk. We need to have a talk because, again, she keeps stopping the recording every time. She keeps stopping the recording. And the engineers and producers are just like, kind of like, we know what we're doing. We know you're a legend, because she's like, oh, you know that I have 25 years in, 20 years or 25 years in this game, and I know what I'm talking about. It's like, of course we know what you're talking about. We're not trying to disrespect you. It's just that you need to chill out. And so, of course, she's getting a little offended, a little emotional about it, which is to be expected because that's her daughter and she wants to make sure everything's done right. But at the same time, if you're micromanaging, then the product won't be good. So at one point, Egypt was just like, I really need you to step out. I really need you to go. And she was like, oh, really? She was like, yeah, that'd be great. It was like, oh, that'd be great. Oh, poor thing. So yeah, those first steps of really getting out on her own. So Angela and TJ, they actually meet up, and where are they meeting up? Oh yeah, they meet up and Dame Dash is there, and one of Dame Dash's buddies is there. Of course Boogie's there as well, but Dame Dash's old buddies, and because he's like, Angela, I know you're having some issues with security and feeling safe, so how about this guy? You know, trying to give one of his, put one of his guys on, and Angela's just like, yeah, I don't know if I want someone who's affiliated with you and I don't know them. Deuces. That's literally how it was. Angelo had zero time to even pretend like she cared about what was going on with almost anyone else in this episode. So that was just an interesting switch up. And Romeo, of course, he's still shooting and performing, and he's just saying how he has to give it up to them because in order to get his body to where it needed to be and to do these like war scenes in the movie, he had to really step his game up. And he's like, you know, I've pretty much been trained as an athlete for all my life, but what you guys are doing is on a whole nother level. So I have to give it up to you guys. And so we get from that, and Angela is finally in Miami, and she's actually with Chris Lighty's daughter. They're talking because they're friends, but aside from that, you guys remember that Chris Lighty, he allegedly committed suicide, and of course his family doesn't believe that, and his daughter brings it up as well to Angela. But Angela's just talking about, of course, her stalker and how things currently are, and how she may possibly move to Miami because she can do her whole business, you know, in Miami versus being in New York, and things are really odd and uncomfortable there. But she's probably not going to do that. I mean, we know Angela at this point, and I can't see her just doing that. Maybe for a season, but that's it. And so, yeah, that was interesting because there were some paparazzi that were, what do you call it, by the water. And so they're like, oh, I guess we'll get in the water now. And Angela's clearly looking at them like, y'all better get your asses out of here soon. She just doesn't seem like the type to play around with that type of thing. So I'm like, alright, at least in New York, there's a celebrity or someone who thinks that they're special and important everywhere. So you wouldn't have to worry about all that. So Kristinia was actually in the recording studio. She was an hour late, but she did get there because we know the issues that's going on with her father, and as a result, it's really messing up the business aspect. And as we saw, it already happened with Angela. Angela was already like, you know what? This chick gotta go. She messed up things for me with my fashion show, and so I'm gonna give her the cold shoulder. So Kristinia again showed up late to her producer's, his name's Adonis, session, and he pretty much was like, I don't want to hear it. I don't care. And of course, she didn't really get to say what happened yet, but he was pretty much like, you know, this work and your career comes first. Everything else needs to be put on the back burner. And of course, she's like, family first comes first and all this stuff. And he's just like, yeah, I know, I understand that. But at the end of the day, come on now. So after that, of course, they talk. I'm sure the producer's like, all right, hold on. Cut. We need to get the lighting right, go outside, cool off. And so they talk, and she tells him what actually happened. And he's just like, all right, damn. But you know what? This is about you. What's going on with your father is about him. You cannot keep putting everything that you want on the back burner as because of family stuff. You need to do what you need to do to get yourself out there and make it work. So she went back in the studio and she performed. So then after that, Tretch, of course, Tretch from Naughty by Nature, since his daughter is Egypt, you know, they talk, and Egypt's basically like, you know, mom's tripping. I was in the studio and trying to record, and he was like, well, you know, your mom's a legend. Your mom's an OG, so you know, whatever she says, her input is good and all that stuff. So I'm sure Egypt didn't expect him to take up for her that much. But so that was a little interesting. And then it looks like Angela, as we know, she's still pressed and upset about what Kristinia did. Rightfully so, because they did try to reach out to her earlier on. They don't know the full situation, but I'm sure they'll know by next week. So it'll be like, all right, it's gonna be one of those situations where they'll probably just put the reset button on their friendship and relationship and everything, and just be like, all right, if anything happens, you just have to be upfront with me from the start so that it doesn't mess anything up. And so Angela and Romeo are Skyping, and I'm thinking to myself, all right, they have too much chemistry to be doing stuff like this, because Romeo is shirtless on the other line and Angela is all dolled up. Of course, not wearing anything special, but just hair and makeup. So I know they're on camera, but still. So it's just like, all right, they're playing for these cameras right now. So Kristinia, of course, TJ is there in the studio, and also Adonis, her producer, is there. Mac Main, who, as we know, is the CEO or CFO of Young Money Entertainment. And so Kristinia is an unsigned artist at this point. Remember, she originally had a record deal with Island Def Jam, but I guess after her first album, they pretty much ended their relationship. I don't know the details behind that. And so TJ, like I said, he's showing love and support, and Mac Main's asking him what's going on with him, and he's like, no, I'm a DJ. He was like, oh yeah, that's what's up. And so Kristinia was there to promote her music, you know, it basically like a demo track, because she wants to get signed, and she needs to get signed to put this album out. And so he's like, the album's real cool. He definitely sees a future for her. Very marketable. Definitely has that it factor. You know, she's dressed for the part as well, because it's just like I just said, she's dressed for the part as well to get his attention, and the eyes are definitely like here instead of just like here. And so, but it doesn't really work, because it's just like, yeah, there's a lot going on there. And I'm sure it's probably that situation where, because of her family is just like not fully sure of what's going to happen with her, and maybe a consistency issue. And so they have to figure that part out. But after that, they go and Angela has this whole little shindig. And when I say shindig, it's like a brunch. And so TJ's there, Angela's assistant, Chris Lighty's daughter's there. So I think her name's Whitney, maybe. And so Kristinia shows up. Long story short, Kristinia shows up, and Angela isn't feeling it. So Angela's pretty much going to be like, deuces. Literally, that's what happens. Kristinia sits down, and Angela's just like, you know, I'm not going to be fake and phony because I'm not friends with you. I don't know you. I don't like you right now. So she got up, and of course her crew left. And so TJ and the rest are just like, okay. So then, probably in the same day, I wouldn't be surprised if they just had a, in the hotel room, all talked, Chris Lighty, TJ, and Kristinia, they talk. And so Kristinia says what actually happened and the issues that's going on in her life, and that's why she wasn't there. And so then TJ's just like, all right, I need to get these two together because I'm sure once Angela knows this, then things will change. And so TJ, of course, is practicing, and sound check isn't going well, and he's just like freaking out only a little bit because he has big shoes to fill, and this is a big moment for him and his career, and of course the legacy that his father left behind. So he's the one to mess that up. The last thing is Kristinia. I guess we do pop-ups now. She's going to be the pop-up queen. She pops up in Angela's hotel room, and Angela just has like this, hi, which has me thinking, okay, did the producers let her in? Or like, what's going on here? What is really going on here? So then they talk, and Angela's just like, you know, I don't really know you, and then you go and you do that. Now I'm thinking that you're unprofessional. Now I'm thinking I can't book you for things. That's what Chris Lighty's daughter was saying. And she was just like, I think you're unreliable, unprofessional, you're not going to show up, all this stuff. And of course, Kristinia, because they don't know the situation and she knows she was overall in the wrong, she's trying to keep it together and not blow up and just be like, all right, okay, if that's really how you feel, bye. And, you know, I understand why she would walk out, because it's like, I'm not going to sit here and take that from these see, I'm so upset thinking about it. I'm not going to sit there and take that from these two people who don't really know me. That's not going to happen. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. So, that was the end of the episode. Please let me know what you think. Please like, comment, subscribe. Like I said, I'll be doing a review each week. Do you like the show? Do you think it's entertaining enough? Is it something that you can see a season 2 for? How you feel about everyone's storylines or what they have going on? Do you like the fact that it doesn't feel like it's made up or contrived? Let me know. That's it.